So I built some wooden window screens for the sliding windows, or the sliding doors. They are door skin and very thin plywood with a piece of window screen that has been glued down with Sikaflex. There's a couple of little tabs at the top that rotate to lock this down. I like it from the outside because it can really seal well. I put some expanding foam on it to really seal it, and it does a great job at keeping the bugs out. Here's some shots of some of the components close up. There's the expanding foam. And then how those little tabs work is they just rotate. They're very simple. And that locks it into place. There's one on each side. For the front doors, I bought these really cheap little screens that are really elastic, and they do a great job at clinging to the door and completely covering. And it's double-sided, so there's 2 layers of screen there. They're pretty durable. I kind of worry I'm going to poke a hole through it when I stick them on, but so far they've held up really well. I haven't been able to puncture them yet. All they need is a single magnet to hold the screen down up at the front because of the mirror. I use these little magnets for all kinds of things on the van, and one magnet and it's done. Next up are these regular door screens with the magnetic catch in the middle. I ended up cutting them. You end up cutting them off because they're too long for the van opening, and they just Velcro right into place. It's really quick to set these up. There's a little bit of sewing involved. My wife did some sewing across the bottom and sewed a little pocket where the sienna window sticks out at the back. It's kind of an annoying feature, but anyway, you can see how quick these stick down. I also mounted some magnets into the back side of that plastic door jamb. And I'll show you some details of that. That's it. Here's the close-up of the Velcro. The Velcro is I put it close to the gasket, which obviously you need to do, but the front part of the door is it's not an easy sticking the Velcro down. And there's my wife's sewing handiwork. And there they are. They just stick right down. And so I took the door jamb off after I marked it, and then I had to cut these little plastic ribs out to fit the magnets on. Then I used some Sikaflex to glue them down. Had an old rotten tube, so I cut the tube open and used some of the stuff that was still in the tube that was good. Here's the Velcro around the edge. It's a little bit tough to put on. You just have to wash the car carefully with alcohol after I wiped it down with water and then washed it down with alcohol to make sure it was clean and dry before sticking down this Velcro. So next up is a screen for the back door that pretty much covers a good part of the van. These are 9-foot outdoor umbrella mosquito nets, and they're about $25 from Amazon. They're huge and they're pretty lightweight actually. I installed some Kedar rails for my awning, so I ended up adding a rope and a pull tab to the screen to help put these into the Kedar rail. That's not a necessity for this screen setup. This can be done with just magnets. You don't need to have a fancy rail to slide these on and stick them on. You can just pull the screen out and stick it on with the magnets that I will show you. Takes a little bit of time. The nice thing is it goes past the middle doors as far as screen. It's a little bit challenging to get into the car without letting bugs in, but it does a pretty decent job. If the bugs aren't real thick, this does a great job, and it provides a nice space in the back of the van when the hatch is up to sit inside a screen but sit outside, which we have done that on multiple occasions. Again, it depends on the intensity of the bugs as to how well this works. Although I did add a section of window screen that is attached below the bumper to block off that space. And these are the magnets that I use quite a bit of. And voila, here's a screened-in porch on the back of the van. You just pull it out, and I'd use a small rock or pieces of wood if I'm not using my van parking leveling blocks, then I'll just set those one at each corner. Now this is a pull tab that I had my wife sew on to the corner so that it doesn't rip the screen to pull that through that Kedar rail. And this is it. It just goes around the van. There's a couple of magnets to hold it in place. And that's the van covered completely in the back with screen. Here's some magnets and the little patch that's sewn on there. The wood blocks, and I can also put this out and so I can have the kitchen out and the car still has screen protection. These are some closed cell foam with duct tape, and they seal off the opening of the back hatch to the van. I used to put like cloth and stuff up there. It's just kind of a pain. But these things are a nice snug fit, and they block off that avenue for the bugs. So this is an example of the screen not in the Kedar rail, and it takes a few more magnets, but like I say, you don't need any fancy rail to use this cheap screen to cover your van. Just take some magnets and the screen, and you're good to go. And this is a very poor video of the screen that's below the bumper. I have 3 magnets that hold that on. They are marked with a small stripe of duct tape, and on the back side of that, in the inside behind the plastic, I have used Sikaflex and glued some fender washers so that the magnets have something to stick to. There's the little stripe, and there's a fender washer under Sikaflex. And lastly, here is a carabiner in the latch of the door, which turns off the light on the dash. So the car thinks that the door is shut, and I have this little piece of plastic hanging there so I don't forget that it's there. And as always, thanks for watching my video and hanging in there. And if you get a chance, check out my other videos.